At some point, sex stopped being something that happened and started being something that spoke. I didn't notice when the shift occurred. There was no announcement, no moment I could rewind and circle in red. It just changed. Like a language you suddenly realize you understand, even though no one ever taught you the rules. Touch became meaning. Silence became consent. A look became a full sentence. And my body answered before my brain had time to object. That scared me. Not the desire, but the ease. We didn't talk about it. Not directly. We never needed to. It lived in the spaces between words, in the way he waited half a second longer before pulling away, in the way I stopped pretending I didn't know what would happen when I went to see him. It felt intentional without being planned, inevitable without being rushed. And the more natural it felt, the more unnatural everything else became. I started lying like breathing. Not big lies, not dramatic ones, just small edits to the truth. Adjustments. Trimming the edges so nothing looked suspicious. Gemini survival mode kicked in like muscle memory. Adapt, deflect, charm, move on. I could tell 3 versions of the same story without missing a beat. I could answer questions without answering them. I could look my boyfriend in the eye and mean what I said, even while knowing it wasn't the whole thing. That's the dangerous part. I wasn't acting, I was believing myself. At home, I grew sharp without realizing it. Shorter patience, quicker sighs. I started resenting him for things that used to feel comforting. The predictability, the steadiness, the way he loved me in straight lines while I was all curves and detours. I hated that he didn't make my heart race anymore. I hated that he didn't surprise me. And I hated myself most of all for comparing him to someone who only existed in fragments of time. But the resentment didn't stop there. I resented the new one too. Because he didn't have to deal with the mess. He didn't see the exhaustion, the emotional math, the way my chest felt tight every time my phone buzzed at the wrong moment. He got the version of me that laughed easily, touched lightly, left before things got heavy. He didn't have to carry the consequences. He didn't have to see what this was costing me. And sometimes I hated him for that, even as I wanted him more. I was living 2 lives with the same body and different rules. One version of me woke up early, folded laundry, planned weekends, said we like it was permanent. The other version slipped into borrowed hours, into stolen spaces, into a version of myself that felt brighter, louder, sharper, more alive. I didn't know which one was real anymore. I only knew they both felt necessary. Late at night, when the city went quiet in that fake way, sirens in the distance, a train rumbling underground, I'd sit on the floor with my phone and scroll old photos. Me and my boyfriend on trips, on couches, in kitchens, in moments that used to feel like home. I'd stare at them like they were proof of something I was losing in real time. Then I'd delete one. Just one. Then another. Then I'd panic and stop, heart racing, like I'd almost erased myself. Sometimes I cried. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I opened another app and went right back to the person who made me forget. I told myself I was still in control. I told myself I was being careful. I told myself I would choose soon. Gemini logic is beautiful and cruel. It makes indecision sound like strategy, delay sound like wisdom. It whispers that timing matters more than honesty, that one more moment won't change anything. But everything was already changing. I felt it in my body first. The constant tension. The way I flinched when my phone buzzed in the wrong room. The way I rehearsed conversations in my head that I never had. The way I was always tired, always performing, always holding two versions of myself together with fragile hands. I knew I was betraying someone. I just didn't know which version of me was responsible. The girl who came home every night, kissed him, said goodnight, or the girl who left her mind somewhere else hours before her body followed. And one night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling while my boyfriend slept beside me, it finally hit me. Not like guilt, not like shame, but like a calm, awful truth settling into my chest. I wasn't confused. I wasn't stuck. I wasn't waiting for clarity. I was waiting for impact. Because as long as I didn't choose, I didn't have to face what choosing would destroy. As long as I delayed, I could pretend this wasn't already falling apart. I wasn't standing between two lives. I was balancing on a crack. And I knew, deep down, quietly, unmistakably, the crash wasn't coming. It was already happening. I was just pretending not to hear it.